As an IB student, I had to initiate a CAS project. I viewed this as an opportunity to explore my passion for economics and statistics, network with people from all around the world, and apply my keen interest and skill set in solving global issues. It was the COVID-19 pandemic that grabbed my attention, as it was something that everyone in the world is suffering the consequences of, but in completely different ways. I read articles regarding how various countries were acting in this pandemic. The official statistics were the easiest way to view the world's situation and conjecture how well the governments were overcoming this disaster. Researching the information of so many countries, however, my curiosity of how the world is truly holding out wasn't fully resolved. So I searched for a way to amalgamate these resources, but I was still unsure of whether the sources I referred to were credible.
Each one of us has been promoting the need of transparency concerning the official reports of the pandemic on a national scale. Surprisingly, when Guion reached out to us through a mutual organization that we share, a perfect opportunity has been presented to us in order for us to implement our passion concerning the pandemic in a global scale. Never before have I came across an organization that advocates for us youth in terms of the pandemic, sharing our COVID-19 stories with the world. We, as REVIR, aspire to unite the youth in such a manner that allows us to tell people how we perceive the pandemic and its after effects.
Hello everybody, my name is Milica and I am one of the co-leaders of REVIR. During this past couple of years, we all faced many problems. In my countries, there were protests held during the summer of the first year. As foreign media portrayed them, they were against COVID-19 measures. However, they were actually against the government that wanted to hold elections during the ongoing pandemic. That would endanger public health, so people were logically against it. However, nobody in the whole world knew what was going on over here. So that got me thinking, what was going on in other countries? How were people handling this pandemic? As I tried to research online, I faced a big problem of not having any data to look at. For some countries, there were not sufficient information about this pandemic, and about some countries, there was no information whatsoever. So that got me thinking, what was actually going on? Why do we not know anything? I wanted to reach out to people and ask how they were doing. I wanted to share my story and story about my country. So I wanted to create a community based on truth and real experiences of the people, so that we could come to understand each other's struggles and support each other through this pandemic.
When Seira and Milica joined me on the project,
we brainstormed, unified our passion, eradicated our differences
to create the goal of forming a wholesome community of youth and producing a comparative analysis.
But we faced some massive problems.
We needed to confirm the sources of our information and determine the structure of the report.
3 months prior to REVIR going public, we worked on our mission and vision statements, researched about countries with different economical statuses, figured out the legal aspects to be laid out, finalized the structure of our reports, and discussed the different kinds of activities that are going to be held for our audience, and much more.
Internet issues and time discrepancy abounded.
Seda would have occasional network problems, and the time difference between Kion and me was 7 hours. So with all the school and extracurriculars and stuff that we had to juggle, it was pretty hard scheduling the meetings.
What size would be the best for our organization?
After much deliberation, we finally decided on the teams that we need and designed the applicational form that enables us to attract students from all over the world who are interested in becoming the team leaders. One thing that I'm forever grateful for is how Millie, Gayon, and I supported each other through the 1-month-long incubation that we faced, and I'm forever grateful for their support.
I used to doubt myself with something like, is this actually going to work? But with Millie and Seda by my side, I felt reassured.
From the beginning, searched for enthusiasm in our applicants. We searched for people that were passionate about the situation right now, but not only fundamentally interested in this pandemic, but in all the social issues that it brought to the surface. So we wanted somebody who cared and wanted to understand what was going on locally and globally.
Organizational skills was definitely something that we looked for in our applicants. Skill set matters when it comes to building a new organization. Therefore, both teamwork and organizational skills were two aspects that we looked for during our application period. Team experience was not a necessity, however, but thankfully, all of our applicants had 1 or 2 previous work experiences within a similar atmosphere. We wish to make the time spent on our organization symbiotically beneficial in order for us to create an environment to learn and guide.
Diversity. I could have done this project with friends from my country, but that would have made the global comparative analysis a biased, unchecked report without any global references. REVIR is a project of diversity. We actively pursued persons from all ages, races, ethnicities, genders across the world and continued to do so. The connections and friendships that we have made over the same global issue are remarkable. This is what we're actively rooting throughout our project, to bind the youth from different areas of the planet to celebrate their differences and find a same place of hope during these tough times. I was absolutely enthralled by how passionate and well prepared they were for the interview. I didn't expect all the applicants to apply for separate team leader positions. During the interviews, when they shared their own COVID stories, I couldn't help but just appreciate the differences that all the applicants hold. The interviewers, whether past or not, brought to me various perceptions that I've never thought of before. How they own their passion in their distinct way. These differences have made our organization already quite vibrant and stimulating.
The application process has been very fun to me, to be honest, because it was the first time that I ever met multiple individuals who were so welcoming and enthusiastic to this new idea that we had. They never came across an organization that advocates for youth that has been built by youth themselves. So the idea was very refreshing. Something that truly amazes me is that each applicant had their own deeper motive behind applying. Nobody applied just for the sake of improving their CV. So that was like a positive thing.
To be honest, there were few setbacks at the beginning of this project that made us doubt ourselves. There were only few applicants in the beginning, and some successful applicants gave up their position. But when we got through our first meeting and when people stuck around, I was so happy that I got to work with them. They were not only interested in this pandemic, but they also were interested in our complete cause and in other social issues. They were great team workers and also very skilled and experienced in the areas that they applied for, which made me really happy.
Transparent,
Respectful,
inclusive,
Unity.